We're going to take a short break, and after the break, Manchester United's second bid for Bryan Mbeumo was rejected at the end of June. When we come back, we'll let you know how things stand. More on that. We'll let you know. Now to some brutal criticism of Marcus Rashford from Teddy Sheringham, who has claimed the Manchester United forward does not deserve a move to Barcelona. Sheringham, who of course won the treble with United, claims the whole situation surrounding Rashford's potential departure is soul-destroying, and he's questioned the player's professionalism. Well, Rashford has returned to United's training base at Carrington this week, despite being offered extra time off following his loan spell at Aston Villa. The England forward is one of 5 United players who have said they want to leave. Last week, we reported Rashford was Barcelona's #1 left-wing target. So Manchester United trying to offload some players. But in terms of bringing a player in, Bryan Mbeumo still has not walked through that door. And we know that Manchester United are very interested. What's the latest?
People keep saying, what's going on?
I feel like I've asked this question more than any other this transfer window.
It's becoming a little bit of a transfer summer saga, isn't it? We know that Manchester United are interested. Their second offer was rejected. They remain confident that they can get a deal over the line for Bryan Mbeumo. We're expecting to see a third bid, which would probably be a final bid for the Brentford man. Manchester United would love to get this wrapped up and sorted before they go on their pre-season tour of the USA as well, and they very much want Bryan Mbeumo to be a part of that squad that travels with Ruben Amorim. The key thing is the fee and, most importantly, the structure of the payments. Brentford have always been quite staunch in that we want £65 million and we want the majority of that paid up front. So therefore, Manchester United are either going to have to be a little bit creative or they're going to have to find a softened stance from Brentford to get this deal over the line. I feel like I'm a broken record. I keep saying it feels like it's close. It feels like it's close. Okay. But until it feels Manchester United lodged that third bid, we're still just waiting for those moments.
Just off the back of that, I think Brentford will wisely look at Mbeumo if he was to leave. They've got to prepare themselves that if the deal to Manchester United does materialise eventually, they're going to need to be in a position to start the season.
Yeah, Mark, really strong words there. What did you make of what Sheringham had to say?
Well, Teddy Sheringham's one of those iconic Premier League players and was a part of a hugely successful era. The problem will be finance, and that's where Manchester United...
His salary?
His salary. And Manchester United will be looking at a player through their academy and saying, well, actually, he represents 100% profit, so we want our £40 million, which was what was agreed with Aston Villa, but they decided not to exercise that option. So therefore, we need to get that kind of money because that's what we believe he's worth as a minimum.
Just aside of Rashford, there are a few other players
trying to get out.
We do know that Manchester United have said, look, just delay your return to training, sort out your futures. One of those, of course, is Jadon Sancho. Interesting what's happening there at the moment because Juventus are very interested in Jadon Sancho. However, they're currently finalising a deal to sign the Porto forward, Francisco Conceição, who they had on a straight loan last season. And at the end of that, there was no option, but there was a release clause in his contract. Juventus were trying to negotiate on that release clause. Porto wanted €30 million up front. Juventus wanted to pay a little bit more in return for more favourable payment terms, which is what we think they've agreed to do. They're going to pay Porto €32 million and they'll pay that over 4 instalments. Now, the feeling was it was going to be one or the other, Conceição or Sancho. But the information that we're getting is that a deal for Sancho to Juventus has not been ruled out. But it is thought there would have to be departures at Juventus for them to be able to fund a deal for Sancho. Now, significantly, Marseille are in talks with Juventus over a potential deal for Timothy Weah. Now, that could help Juventus fund a deal for Jadon Sancho. Talks between United and Juve are open, as are talks between Juve and Sancho's representatives. As yet, there's not been an agreement on either. So there hasn't been an agreement on a transfer fee. And we talked about Rashford's wages. Sancho's on big wages as well. So Juventus remain in talks with his representatives over trying to find an agreement on the personal terms. It feels like the more problematic one would be the personal terms. And then Juventus could probably negotiate on the transfer fee with regard to Jadon Sancho. So no agreement on either front yet, but we think that Sancho's asking price is around £25 million, which is what Chelsea would have had to have paid had they taken up their obligation at the end of last season. Anthony, meanwhile, Real Betis, we know they remain desperate to sign Anthony. Anthony wants to go to Real Betis, had a really successful second half of last season at Real Betis. Difficult deal again for Real Betis to do, given the finances involved. But these 5 players behind me, they're the ones that Manchester United want to do permanent deals for.
Alejandro Garnacho as well. Any updates on him? He carries on posting these cryptic social media posts.
Yeah, I mean, Manchester United, again, want to do deals for all 5. There haven't been any formal offers, we think, at the moment. Napoli were interested earlier on in this transfer window, but they couldn't get a deal done. The noises around Garnacho would suggest that any deal, he would prefer a permanent deal to a Premier League club, so he wants to stay in England.
OK.